Hello and welcome to Shoot the Hostage. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Dan.
We're a movie show that delves into a different film each week based around a theme. This season, the theme is cops. Like all good podcasts, this show contains explicit language and mature content, as well as major spoilers for the movie that we're covering.
So we're here today to talk about Police Academy.
Not just Police Academy, though.
There are many Police Academy. There are a plethora of Police Academy movies. We're talking about Police Academy.
Yeah.
Police Academy. Can you name them?
Off the top of my head?
Yeah.
Oh, Police Academy 2, The First Assignment.
Ding.
Police Academy 3. Oh shit, was that Citizens on Patrol? No, back in training.
Ding.
Damn it. 4 is Citizens on Patrol.
Ding.
5 is Assignment Miami Beach.
Ding.
6 is City Under Siege.
Ding.
And 7 is Mission to Moscow.
Correct.
I'm so ashamed.
I'm happy. I struggled with it until, the last couple of weeks we've been furiously watching Police Academy movies and writing
reading everything possible and listening to commentary tracks. And I have ingested far more Police Academy content than I ever cared to.
Oh, do you think you'll ever get sick of? No,
that lives in my head rent-free at all times.
Yeah, I know. It's an iconic tune. It's synonymous, obviously, with that Police Academy thing. Everybody knows it, even if they haven't seen Police Academy. They'll be like, it's the Police Academy thing. So we're doing all 7 Police Academy movies in one episode.
Because we're insane.
And we like to make things hard for ourselves. And we just thought everyone wants to hear our thoughts on all 7 Police Academy movies, including Mission to Moscow. I'm going to start with asking you, what does Police Academy mean to you?
What does it mean?
What does it? Yeah, it's not a trick question. Like,
on a personal level?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, having grown up in the 80s and 90s, I watched the first handful of Police Academy movies a lot when I was a child. So to me, they're kind of like, I don't know, I watched 2 and 3 the most, I think. Upon this rewatch of the series, I realised I was very familiar with 2 and 3. So it's kind of like a bit of a comfort blanket for me, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily think they're any good.
Okay.
Like any of them.
We'll get to that.
But they are comforting.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, similar. I feel like in the 80s and 90s, Police Academy movies were so abundant. They're just
you couldn't move for Police Academy movies.
No, any Saturday or Sunday afternoon, it was usually Police Academy 5. But yeah, they were always on television when we were kids.
Yep.
So I've seen them. There are a couple that I've seen a bunch of times, a couple that I've seen less, one that I've seen twice. So they were just everywhere. And like you said, it's a comfort blanket thing. They're super familiar, and
they're like all pretty much a lean 90 minutes. They're easy breezy.
Yeah,
you don't have to engage your brain at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. Been watching them since I was a child, and continuing to watch them into my late 30s.
I feel like you're in the minority there. People hate these movies?
Do they?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so. Okay, so we've got 7 Police Academy movies to get through. So should we start with the first one? Or
let's
should
start
we
with
do
one.
It in reverse order?
Ooh, no, let's start with 1 and go forward.
Oh, good. I don't know why I said that. If you just said 7, I'd be like, oh no, my notes are all wrong. Okay, so Police Academy number 1.
The one that most resembles an actual film.
Yeah, it's nearly a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, very nearly.
1984 it came out. It had a £4.5 million budget and it grossed 149 million in the world of Earth.
The world of Earth.
Yeah.
On this planet.
Yeah.
On other planets, we're not sure. We don't have that data.
I think even on Pluto there's a Police Academy movie playing somewhere. They haven't received 7 yet though because of the time it takes for light to travel across the universe.
Ron Perlman's livid. Basically.
I just want to get my face in Pluto. So Police Academy number 1. What I did was I went on to ChatGPT and I typed in, give me a 10 bullet point summary of the story of Police Academy 1, and I did that for all 7. So I'm gonna from time to time refer to my notes.
Okay.
Maybe I'll read a line. Maybe it'll be completely incorrect because it seems
have you read through them?
Yes.
To verify?
I've skimmed through them to verify.
Okay, and is some of it bollocks?
Yeah, some of it's bollocks. Which makes sense because obviously when I think about police academies, it's like, when was the one where Mauser loses his eyebrows? Or I get a bit confused. They're all, with the exception of 7, which is, I know which one 7 is.
My notes are very similar in terms of the fact that I had to write things like the jet ski one and the hot air balloon one next to the titles.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to differentiate them. But they're all, my point is that they're all kind of go into one in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same with AI because there's a bunch of notes where they're referring to other movies.
Or the Police Academy movies, which is completely different movies.
Like there'd be a bullet point in 4 when the thing happened in 3 or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
ChatGPT. That is in fact your real name.
Yeah. And I Googled it as well. And in fact, actually, it's apparently called AI hallucinations, which is...
That's a term that I instantly hate. Why is that terrifying?
I love it. I think AI is a very good thing. And... because this is going to be on record on the internet, and maybe AI will be listening one day. You're great. You're great. I'm an ally. So I don't know what we're talking about. Right, shall we start with point number 1, just to get us going, shall we? So, a group of misfit civilians apply to the police academy after the mayor announces that anyone can join.
Yeah, that's factually accurate.
So there's a bit of beef in the city. Crime is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
What should we do?
They need more police, so they need to relax the rules.
Yeah, so anyone can join, basically. Yeah. So we get introduced to a couple of characters. The main one, obviously, is Mahoney, and he's kind of...
Fucking Mahoney. I hate Mahoney.
Do you hate Mahoney or you hate Steve Guttenberg?
I don't know Steve Guttenberg. So I'm going to say I hate Mahoney.
Okay, well, I do know Steve Guttenberg.
Personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
We go to church together. And he's all right. He's all right.
Mm-hmm.
He's Mahoney's a bit of a dick. The character Mahoney is a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But he's a lovable dick, isn't he?
Is he? He's a cocky misogynist. I'm not a fan.
Banter! So Steve Guttenberg is the main guy in Police Academy, in the Police Academy franchise, but he's only in 4 of the movies.
He is and he's not. He doesn't really get any more or less screen time than most of the other ensemble.
Yeah.
But he is kind of first build and...
He was the big name. He was the draw.
What had he done prior to that? Because obviously he jumped ship from this franchise to make 3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah, which was insanely profitable.
Yeah.
When did Short Circuit come out?
Oh, I can't remember.
Was that pre or post 1984?
Oh, post, I believe.
Okay.
I think I want to say late 80s because I believe the sequel was like 1990 or something. Early 90s?
89-ish, maybe 90. I remember I had a big VHS of that. But yeah, so Steve Guttenberg, and this movie starts with introducing us to a bunch of misfit outcast characters.
Mm-hmm.
You got Barbara, who's being bullied. Leslie Barbara.
Was Barbara only in the first one?
Yeah, Barbara was only in the first one.
Strange.
He joins the police academy. You've got, obviously, we spoke about Mahoney,
Mm-hmm.
and because he's a bit of a rogue, he works at a car parking lot and parks the car, puts it on 2 wheels, and then goes to the police. For some reason, the police captain interviews criminals personally.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You've been a bad boy. You've
naughty.
been a naughty Gutenberg. Go and join the police." So
because that's the solution.
Yeah, so that's his punishment. It's jail or 14 weeks training at police academy. So
jail or the opposite of jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Enforcer of law or criminal. And I think that actually that would work quite well. I think we should introduce that.
We should start enacting that in real life.
Yeah, if someone does a crime, you'd be like, right, you're police now. I think that's what they do anyway.
Who better than to get into the mind of a criminal?
Exactly. It's like a Dexter thing going So you get a bunch of... Do you know what? I haven't written many of the characters down, so I'm just going to go off the top of my head. We've got, obviously, the characters in the first movie. You've got the synonymous ones, Police Academy.
Hightower.
Yeah, you got Hightower. You got
Jones.
Larville Jones, who I only just realised his name was Larville.
Really?
Yeah, I never knew that before researching for this episode.
Callahan
and Hooks and Tackleberry.
Tackleberry, of course.
Captain Harris.
God, I hate Captain Harris.
I know you do. And that's it for the first movie, more or less.
And Lassard. We haven't said
Lassard.
Lassard.
Of course, Commandant Eric Lassard. Yeah, I forgot because there were so many, many, many cast members. I completely forgot about Eric Lassard. So they're kind of joining the police academy. Hijinks ensue. Movie ends. Police Academy 2?
There's a semblance of a plot.
What is it?
Okay.
Jonesy has a shave.
I might immediately have to walk back that comment.
But you got, so each character, right?
Yep.
They're super layered. They've all got basically Tackleberry's character is he loves guns.
Yeah, they all have one attribute and only one.
Yeah, Hooks is softly spoken until she's not.
She's the silent Bob of this franchise.
Yes. And then you've got Callahan, who is like a stern kind of police officer.
With boobs.
I forgot. She's got two character traits.
Yeah.
Who else we've got? Captain Harris, who is under Lassard, and he doesn't really like Lassard. He's trying to sabotage him. He wants the big job with the desk. And is that it? Hightower is really big.
Big, strong.
Big guy. Yeah, big dude.
Jones, noises.
Mouth guy, yeah. And that's the characters.
Yeah.
Leslie, as we mentioned earlier, Leslie Barber is kind of bullied a bit. And,
Fackler.
And Fackler.
Clumsy.
Fackler is clumsy. And I would say Fackler's maybe the most forgettable character.
Yeah, since we forgot him until just that moment.
He doesn't really say much, but...
And then he disappears from the franchise for a bit and then just, without fanfare, returns for one film.
Yeah. So, what is the plot of this movie?
I don't know. What I do know is that the producer, Paul Maslansky, who probably made bank off this franchise, got the idea for it while he was producing The Right Stuff, because a group of police cadets turned up to assist with crowd control during the filming. And when they kind of piled out of the vans or whatever, he was struck by the fact that they were like wildly diverse.
Yeah. And
he thought visually that was quite funny. And to quote him, he said they were fumblingly inept.
Yeah.
And so that's where the idea came from.
I heard this too.
Okay.
And I heard that he had also approached someone who knows about this stuff and was like, oh, why are we recruiting people that have got no discernible skills into the police force? And they said, oh, it's this weird like legislation thing. Basically, we try and get them to quit. We try and get them to wash out, which amused me.
Okay. Interesting. What's the second plot point that ChatGPT gave you?
Well, it's the second plot point. It basically just says among the applicants is Carey Mahoney. I didn't realise his first name was Carey.
Carey Mahoney, yeah.
He's a troublemaker who is forced to join the academy after getting arrested, which we've covered that already.
Yeah, and he meets Jonesy.
And then they kind of join together. Point number 3, Mahoney clashes with the academy's instructors, especially the strict and no-nonsense Lieutenant Thaddeus Harris.
Thaddeus? His name is Thaddeus Harris. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Befriends several other misfits, including the gentle giant Moses Hightower and the gun-obsessed Eugene Tackleberry. Mahoney also falls for fellow cadet Karen Thompson, who is determined to prove herself as a capable police officer. Yeah, Kim Cattrall's in this movie, well, for half of it, until she forgot she was in a movie. And then she just sort of disappears. She does come back in the end.
They have a snog at the end.
Yeah, she joins. She doesn't like Mahoney because he's a creep. And then she's like, hang on, maybe I do like Mahoney. I'm wearing some little shorts and I'm going to disappear for a bit. And I'm going to come back at the end. I'm going to kiss Stephen Guttenberg, never return to the franchise again. And then a decade later, do Sex and the City.
She was all right, though.
What, in Police Academy?
Yeah.
She's fine. Yeah.
She was all right. Apparently, she's very proud of her role.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So the cadets go through a series of grueling and often ridiculous training exercises, including crowd control and driving tests. So the crowd control bit is where Hooks finds her voice and just shouts at people.
And that catchphrase is discovered.
Which one?
Oh God, that really memorable one. you know the one.
I know the one.
Something about don't move dirtbag.
Don't move dirtbag.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. As they train, the cadets also face off against a gang of local crims who are causing chaos in the city. So that's towards the end of the movie, really. They go through their training.
Well, they all follow the same kind of pattern, though, don't they? Like
pretty much.
The big, and I'm putting this in quotation marks. The high stakes bit is always the final 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Yeah.
With the exception of like maybe Miami Beach, where that's introduced fairly early on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's a plot in Assignment Miami Beach.
I didn't hate it.
No, I don't like it. We'll get to it. So Mahoney gets kicked out at some point, and then loads of crime happens. And
as a direct result of him being kicked out?
Yeah, people were just livid. They had
rioting in the streets.
Yeah. But then the cadets have to ship off to go and fight this crime wave, and Mahoney sneaks onto the bus. Fast forward to the end, he gets shot out a bit and is the super main hero person that saves the day. Well, actually, no, he's not, because I would say Hightower is, because Mahoney goes to save the day. He gets caught.
He does.
And Hightower comes
with
up.
Captain Harris.
With Captain Harris, yeah. And Hightower comes up and punches the baddie.
How many times during this episode are you going to do that?
Loads.
Did you know that this film was the 7th highest grossing movie of 1984?
I did not know that.
That's nuts.
That is nuts, yeah.
It's not good enough. I have more facts.
What, for the first movie?
For the first movie.
Right.
I have a lot of facts.
All right.
Marion Ramsey, I kind of love this, and it makes a lot of sense. Marion Ramsey based Hook's voice on Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Which, that tracks. Very softly spoken.
Yeah.
Borderline creepy.
Okay.
I'm going to say.
Yeah.
This is the only one in the franchise that was given an R rating.
Because boobs?
I assume so, and like some blowjob gags.
Oh, yeah,
the blowjob gag. This film ends on a knob gag. That tells you everything you need to know, basically. Marion Ramsey again. Hooks was, her character was originally written to be a larger lady who kind of loses weight and gets fitter during her training.
Yeah.
So throughout most of the movie, she's wearing a fat suit. But there are some shots of skinny Marion Ramsey, which is very confusing if you're paying close attention.
Yeah.
But I doubt anybody is paying very close attention to Police Academy.
I've never noticed that, I must admit.
I've got some casting facts, which I think you might find interesting.
Oh, go on. Who auditioned for the role of Mahoney?
Mahoney? There's a fucking laundry list of people. Billy Crystal, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks was the big one. I think it was sort of between Tom Hanks and Gutenberg, from what I can gather.
Okay.
I could kind of see that they were quite similar at the time.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Okay.
I would no.
Yeah, he did Mr. Mum instead.
I don't care for that. Bill Murray.
Yeah, that works.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of Bill Murray character anyway, isn't he?
I suppose. A bit cheeky.
Yeah.
Judge Reynolds.
Yep. By that.
Jerry Seinfeld.
I heard about Jerry Seinfeld. I heard that the audition went terribly.
Did it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't really know what that means. It probably means that Seinfeld read the script like this. I can't say this.
Maybe he read it and he was just like, this is terrible. This is just the worst script I've ever read. And bombed on purpose.
Do you think he regrets it?
I have no idea. Probably not. No.
He's the richest comedian in the world.
Yeah.
And he did it without Police Academy.
Absolutely. Robin Williams, which I also don't love. A lot of these people are comedy giants, but I don't see them in this role.
No.
We also have Bruce Willis, John Travolta, and Rick Moranis.
Okay. All for Mahoney.
All for Mahoney.
Bloody hell. They considered everybody.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Everybody who was anybody in the 80s was considered for that role.
Okay.
Rick Moranis would have been a very out there choice.
Yeah. Better than Bruce Willis, though. Bruce Willis doesn't work at all.
I'm trying to think if he's done much comedy at all.
Not on purpose.
Oh, bless him.
The last Die Hard movie was pretty funny.
You make a good point. And the last one is Commandant Eric Lassard was written with Leslie Nielsen in mind.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely see.
Yeah.
I don't know, like that sentence there is ambiguous though. Because it was written with him in mind, but that doesn't mean he ever considered taking the role.
No, they just based that character on his delivery.
Yeah.
Which totally tracks because it's deadpan and silly.
But I don't know, maybe Nielsen was just all copped out at that point in his career.
Maybe.
Obviously, Roger Ebert, enemy of fun. This entire franchise, in fact, has an ongoing war with many famous critics.
Many.
But it's one of the few films that Roger Ebert gave 0 stars to.
What, Police Academy 1?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what did he give Police Academy 7?
-5.
That's the thing, if you rate something at 0, you've got nowhere to go from there.
That's true. He didn't consider that it would ever spawn 6 more movies, I guess.
Who did?
No one at the time. Paul Maslansky.
Yeah, well, he was hopeful.
Yeah, needed a new wing on his mansion, maybe.
Yeah. Let's move on to Police Academy 2 then, because we've got 7 movies to get through.
Yeah.
So, came out the year after, in 1985.
Well, they churned them out like one a year for a while, didn't they?
It made so much money, that first movie, that, as you say, they just started to churn them out. And Police Academy 2, the first sequel, their first assignment, slightly bigger budget, 7.6 million. It grossed 115 million worldwide, so not as much as the first movie.
That's
but still
double the budget.
Yes, it's almost double the budget. So it still made a lot of money, still did well. And the first point on the AI-generated story bullet point, the sequel follows the original Police Academy graduates as they begin their first assignment as police officers.
Okay.
Which is true.
Yeah. Again, factually accurate.
Yeah, but not returning to this one, Leslie Barbara.
Well, I don't understand why not.
I know why.
Oh.
I watched a YouTube video last night. Apparently, he didn't like the script.
Okay.
His character at one point was meant to eat some cat shit, and he wasn't a fan of that.
Okay.
So what they did is they kept that character in, and
Yeah.
that's the Vinny character with the dog in the van, and he's eating a cereal, and then there's cat shit in the cereal, and he eats the cereal. That was meant to be Barbara,
I see.
but he wasn't a fan of that and decided not to come back for it, which I totally understand.
I respect that move.
Yeah. But I think mostly everybody else is back from
Yeah,
first
with
movie.
with a couple of new additions.
Actually, no Captain Harris in this one. There's a replacement.
Oh God, Mauser.
Captain Ernie, Commander Ernie Mauser, I believe.
I hate Mauser way more than I hate Captain Harris.
Captain Harris, G.W. Bailey is way better as that kind of enemy villain, stroke villain character for sure. So next point, the city is facing a new threat from a gang of violent criminals led by the ruthless Zed and his henchman Sweet Chuck.
Sweet Chuck.
That's not true though, is it? He's not a henchman. Sweet Chuck's not a henchman.
He's definitely not a henchman in this movie.
I think this is the first incorrect, or the first one I've noticed that's incorrect from the bullet points.
Sweet Chuck is definitely a victim of Zed and his gang.
Yeah, because Zed is the leader of the gang.
Yeah.
Sweet Chuck is...
I fucking love Mr. Zed. I'm sorry, like, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Bobcat Goldthwait in this role.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that says about these movies, in that they appeal primarily to 7-year-olds.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like, and that's why the ratings sort of went down
I guess
from 15.
So. Like, I guess
first movie to
hard R rating
PG-13.
to PG,
so first movie with Mr. Zed, who would appear in the next 2 movies after this, so 3 in total, and Sweet Chuck. And I don't like this movie as much as the first one. I think it's quite a weak Police Academy movie.
I remembered it being better than it was.
Yeah.
I was kind of struck by how, like, it's such a nothing burger of a movie. Like,
yeah.
So little happens.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's over. And I was really shocked by that. I don't know. Maybe I was sort of viewing these films through a rose-tinted lens.
Were you?
Well, yeah, from my childhood, just kind of viewing them a bit more fondly.
Okay.
And I perhaps mistook it for having more substance than it does.
I
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
These gritty Police Academy movies.
Also, I've just realised there's no Leslie Easterbrook in this one either.
Is there not?
No Callahan in the second one. I don't think.
I thought she was in all 7.
No, I think there's only like 3 of, maybe 3 of the main cast that are all 7.
Oh, okay. Okay, I totally missed that one. Maybe
Because
there
there's
was...
a lot of people that didn't come back for 7.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, a bunch of people. Point number 5, the new precinct captain, Pete Lassard, is the bumbling younger brother of the original film's Captain Lassard and is initially sceptical of the misfit officers. So they go over and help real police, basically.
Yeah.
Their first assignment. And some crime happens and they stop crime.
Yeah.
There's a point here. It says, along the way, the officers also deal with internal conflicts and rivalries, particularly between Mahoney and the by-the-book officer Vinny. What?
Which one's Vinny again?
Vinny's the one that eats the cat shit.
He doesn't seem very by the book
He's
to
not.
me, based on that description
Eating
alone.
cat shit is not in any book. Maybe a Dr. Seuss book. Despite the challenges, the officers eventually succeed in capturing Zed and his gang, restoring order to the city. Isn't the climax of this movie in a cave or something?
Basically, yeah, they have like this underground lair.
Yeah. I do have an underground lair.
But isn't it an old zoo?
I thought he was going to say in Alton Towers.
No, I think it's an old zoo.
Oh, you're right. It is an old zoo. Yeah, and they're just hiding in the baboon enclosure or whatever.
Yeah.
It's made of stones.
Sure. Yeah, this unspecified city that's definitely not Toronto.
Well, the second one was shot in LA.
Was it?
Yeah, the first one was shot in Toronto.
That'll be why it costs so much more.
Yes, I think you're right. I think almost all of that extra cost would have been LA.
Yeah,
costs,
for sure.
locations, and that sort of thing. First one was shot in Canada, and I think most of them were, with the exception of one obvious one,
which was not Mission to Toronto.
Wasn't Mission to Toronto, no, or Mission to Muscle Beach.
Yeah, so a fact that I love is that Zed, obviously Bobcat Goldthwait, and Sweet Chalk, Tim Kazurinsky?
Nailed it.
Kazurinsky? I don't know. It's a Sunday and my reading is not going well. But they kind of are shown to hate each other throughout the movies, but they're really close friends in real life.
Oh, what, now? Still?
Still.
Oh, awesome.
Which I love. Weirdly, Bill Paxton was considered for the role of Mr. Zed.
Oh, just reading that in my notes, actually, as well.
I enjoy that fact, but I can't picture it.
No.
He was good at kind of over-the-top comedy. If you sort of like think of stuff like Chet in Weird Science.
Weird Science, yeah.
So I can see how it could have worked, but I'm glad they went this way.
I'm sure he would have done a good job. There's not a Bill Paxton performance that I dislike. I think he was great. But you can't really... Mr. Z character is so Bobcat Goldthwait that it's hard to imagine anyone else in that role.
Mm.
Apparently, Bill Paxton didn't want to do it because they wanted to lock him into multiple features, and he was like, I just don't want to be in 7 Police Academy movies. So I think he went and did the Alien 2 movie.
Right.
You know that? Have you heard of that?
Alien 2?
Alien 2. Aliens, yeah. Little indie movie.
I've never heard anybody call it Alien 2, but yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah, it's got more than one alien in it.
Yeah.
It has many, many, many aliens.
I mean, actually, is there much more to say about the second one? Like I say, it's just such a nothing movie.
It's funny. I've written here, and this might be completely untrue, but it's interesting, so I'm going to mention it.
Okay.
It's the first movie with the character of Proctor.
Oh, you love Proctor.
I love.
That's why you want to talk about this.
I would say, like Mr. Z is great. I think Proctor might be my favourite character.
You think?
Yeah.
Judging from your reactions every time he was on screen, I know he was your favourite character.
He's just funny. He's just got that funny thing. And when he's with Captain Harris, not in this movie because it's Mauser, but when Captain Harris comes back into it in number 4, I think.
Yeah, Mauser was only there for 2.
Him and Captain Harris and Proctor, their kind of their chemistry, and the way that they bounce off each other, the straight man and the goofball.
They're a good comedy double act.
It's like a Laurel and Hardy situation, and they do it very well. I think Captain Harris is great as well. But yes, apparently I've written down here Jerry Seinfeld auditioned for Proctor
as well.
We mentioned about the Mahoney for number 1.
Oh no, I don't like him for either of those roles.
No. I was very happy with the Proctor we got.
He wasn't the Proctor we wanted, but he was the Proctor we deserved.
Yeah. You either die a Proctor or live long enough to see yourself become a Proctor.
Seinfeld.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Nailed it. There we go. Any other trivia for Police
Not
Academy?
for 2, no.
Number 2.
Because there was very little online, because it's shit.
Okay.
It's one of the worst ones, I think.
Yeah, agreed. We'll get to our ranking later.
Okay.
Moving on then to Police Academy numero 3.
The jet ski one.
The jet ski one. Back in training.
Yeah.
Mr.
Because
Z.
they were so shit.
Yeah. Mr. Z is a good guy now.
Kinda, yeah.
He's in the police. All police are good guys.
Yeah, all right. Let's not get into that this season.
Do you know, I was considering calling this one of the names for this limited series that were on cops. Our theme's cops this season, obviously. I was considering Fuck the Police as a potential name. Fuck the Popo.
We might get sued by NWA.
Tinky Winky, Dipsy Lala and Popo.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so Mr. Z is in the police now. He's trying to he's rehabilitated, I believe is the word.
Yeah, he's on the way to being rehabilitated.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very good villain.
He was a terrible
villain. In fairness, he
Yeah.
wasn't an effective criminal.
No. And again, we've got Captain Mauser with Proctor in this one.
Yeah.
And then it's back in training. There's kind of there's 2 police academies now. You've got Mauser's Police Academy and you've got Lasard's Police Academy. And they announced we're only going to have one. Like, we didn't know there were 2 police academies until Police Academy 3.
Did. This element was not introduced until movie number 3.
It's almost like they gave it no thought and just tried to go back and rewrite it. But yeah, so 2 rival police academies, one with Mauser, one with Lasard. Mauser's one is very much like they've got the berets on their heads and it's like a military thing. He likes to be called Commander. You've got the Japanese character that initially joins Mauser's academy in this. And there's some unpleasant...
Apparently, he was written as an Indian character initially.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because there's that scene where it's like revealed that he's sleeping on a bed of nails. And
oh, yeah.
Not something that's typically associated with Asian culture.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, so it was a bit of there's a bit of racism going on there.
I mean, look, I'm not saying this is like the most problematic franchise to ever exist, because it's not. But although I think it's quite well-meaning, there is a lot of like borderline racism, homophobia, misogyny kind of peppered throughout these films.
Yes, I feel like that gets less and less as we go on in the franchise.
Slightly,
but there are some. I will say that I was worried about that during this rewatch, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Same.
There is some stuff that you just wouldn't put in a movie today. Like you said, I don't think any of it is malicious. It doesn't come across as malicious, just a bit clumsy, I guess. Clumsy dialogue.
I get the impression it was quite well-meaning, because if anything, like the kind of principal core cast, by definition, is very diverse.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
Anybody can join up. So actually, I think it's quite a nicely diverse, representative cast.
And the only people that are doing the racism and the homophobia and the misogyny, with the exception of Mahoney, are the villains. And they all get their comeuppance, whether it's a head in a horse's ass, or getting stuck to a car park barrier, or eyebrows being removed.
Yeah, there was that one line in the first movie, actually, where I think it was actually Captain Harris who said a very ugly word to Hooks. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, like I had a visceral kind of shocked reaction to it, but then backed off a little bit because that's being condemned in the film.
Yes.
Like everybody else is like, you fuckwit, what have you said?
Yeah, exactly. And they're the idiot of the scene. And they are the ones that get...
we're laughing at him, we're not laughing at the things that he said.
Yeah, exactly. So a bit clumsy, but not the worst.
For the 80s, it could have been a lot worse.
For the 80s, there are way worse franchises and movies than this.
I mean, we rewatched, you had a first time watch of 16 Candles recently.
Yeah.
That was so much worse than I remembered.
Yeah. So Police Academy 3 then, with the racism aside, I actually think that this is my favourite Police Academy movie. This is the one that I've seen the most.
Same. 2 and 3 were the ones that I watched the most as a kid.
I think it's the Z factor. I think it's because Mr. Z is in the police with Sweet Chuck, so you get that dynamic going.
Yeah.
And you get way
The
more
Odd
Z
Couple.
stuff. The Odd Couple, yeah. You get way more Z stuff. He's just screaming at people and making them fall off their jet skis.
It's never not funny.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, I don't know. We'll get to the fourth movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so rival academies. Obviously, Lasard's Academy is going to be victorious, and they are. But towards the end of the movie, there's actually a crime about to happen in the last 15 minutes of the movie.
As there always is.
Yeah. And one of the cadets sees a crime in progress at some rich person gala,
some sort
charity
of yacht club.
Yeah, you know, wearing a wank fucking rich tosser.
Hashtag eat the rich.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the police come to rescue someone. What was kidnapped? Was it Lasard?
On jet skis.
Was Lasard kidnapped? Or am I thinking of 5?
He was kidnapped in 5.
Yeah. Okay. No one was kidnapped.
I don't think anyone was kidnapped in 3.
But there's a boat chase. They get on jet skis.
Yeah.
They catch the criminals. Tackleberry is in it a bit. Tackleberry comes up from the water with a gun. That's his character in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's basically all of these movies, you'll find that they're just kind of recycling jokes a lot of the time. And that's fine. And that sort of lends itself to what you were saying about them being comfort movies as well, because you know what you're getting.
Absolutely. It's the same plot every time.
Yeah, you've seen one Police Academy movie. You've seen all the Police Academy movies.
I wish that could have been our show. We watched the first one, so we've seen them all.
Yeah. And blindly trying to pretend that we've watched the others.
Could have saved ourselves 9 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interview snippet that I found. Steve Gutenberg was interviewed with this film in mind. And I don't know how I feel about this. Because he says, my position is to be the protagonist, someone the audience can identify with. In Police Academy, they're not going to say they're Bubba Smith. They're not going to be Michael Winslow with the noises. They have to look at me and say, yeah, that's me.
What does that mean, that sentence?
It's goff. Firstly, it's total word salad. Secondly, I'm troubled by the fact that he named 2 of the only black cast members.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't people see themselves in those characters? Is it that he's supposed to be more of an everyman? I don't see myself as a cocky misogynist. I'd rather be a Hightower or a Jones.
Yeah. You can be Hightower, so you can get things off shelves, and I'll be Jones.
Yeah.
So I can, I don't know, make noises with my mouth.
Yeah, distract people.
Yeah.
Already more useful than Mahoney.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just thought it was a really strange thing to say.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand what he meant either, so.
Yeah. It does sound a little bit like it comes from a place of prejudice, maybe, just because he named those 2 cast members.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know.
We don't. So initially this wasn't going to be a PG.
Okay.
I don't think that was the intention from the outset. So there were some cuts made to references of like racial and sexual slurs.
Probably for the best.
Which, yes, absolutely for the best, but does kind of make me second guess how well-meaning the makers were.
Yeah, so they only removed that stuff so they could
get a lower rating, which presumably the studio had asked for.
Yes.
And coarse language as well, that's fine. We like a swear.
Yeah.
But the other stuff not so much. And another feud with a critic was born. This time, famous critic Leonard Maltin. This film was notable because it was the only one in the franchise that he didn't give a 0-star rating to.
Okay.
Which is fair. If you're going to give it anything, if you're going to give one of them more than a 0-star rating, I'm glad it's this one.
So what you're saying is that this is also Leonard Maltin's favourite police film?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just looking at my notes for this one as well, and they're referring to Captain Harris, who is not in this one.
Oh, so you're saying this is more stuff that AI got wrong?
This is more stuff that AI got wrong, yeah.
Is it applicable to Mauser?
Yes, so they're just referring to Captain Harris when what they actually mean is Commander Mouse AI.
I mean, effectively, Mauser was just a Harris proxy.
Yeah, exactly. But it's okay, AI. You're still young, you're learning. It's fine.
You mean well.
Yeah, we're here for you.
Yeah.
Okay, quick tidbit then before we move on.
Yeah.
The Japanese character, Brian Tochi,
He looked like a Brian.
He looked like a Brian. Apparently, he voiced Leonardo in the first 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live-action movies.
The first 3?
Mm-hmm.
There were 3?
There were 3, yeah. How do you not know this?
I've only seen 2. This blows my mind.
So you've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. Right?
Sure.
And then you've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. For some reason, we're in feudal Japan. It's the title of these. Some vague time travel shenanigans.
You're fucking with me.
I promise you, I'm not. I actually read the graphic novel before I watched the movie of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. I'm going to be buying the trilogy on Blu-ray, so you've got that to look forward to.
Are you fucking with me?
No, I'm not. And they said,
is this a Mandela effect happening right now?
No, it's got nothing to do with
it. Oh, let's move on to 4 because we've got to get this out of the way.
We've got 3 more to get through.
This is a strange
and then
one.
our final thoughts and wrap up. So yeah,
we've got 4 more to get through.
Oh
haven't
yeah.
we?
Oh yeah, I'm an accountant.
not a very good one.
No. So Police Academy 4, as you said earlier, Citizens on Patrol. We're still doing one a year at this point. Came out in 1987. I've written a budget down. It's 17 million. I'm not sure that's correct. That seems like an awful lot of money.
I think 10 of that probably went to Sharon fucking Stone. Why was Sharon Stone in a Police Academy movie?
I don't know. Why was Kim Cattrall in a Police Academy movie?
I'd buy that way more than Sharon Stone.
Yeah, I suppose so back then as well. 17 million, gross 77 million worldwide. So that number is definitely shrinking, but still made a fair amount of money, enough to justify its budget anyway. And I think you're right. I think a lot of that 17 million would have been cast.
There were so many people in this that I genuinely struggled to keep track.
Well, and you're bringing people back as well. You're bringing back G.W. Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably asked for more money, and maybe it was part of the reason that he wasn't in 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah,
so maybe they were like, do you know what? It's the 4th movie. Let's get the band back together and let's just pay it. I imagine Mahoney, Steve Guttenberg made quite a few quid in this, although it's not really in it much. This is out of the 4 that he's in.
Nobody's in it much because there are so many people in this film.
Yeah, no, and not least David Spade.
David Spade.
David Spade.
David Spade and Brian Backer.
And Tony Hawks.
Tony Hawk, no, he's called Tony Hawk.
Oh, just no S. There's only one of them.
Tony Hawk, singular.
Yeah, okay. But he's the skateboard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all of the stunt doubles were from the Bones Brigade.
Oh.
Which you now know about because I made you watch Lords of Dogtown.
Yes, I definitely remember that movie.
Well, the Bones Brigade was Stacey Peralta's brainchild. His kind of skate crew. God, I've never sounded more white or middle-aged in all my life. But yeah, Stacey Peralta worked as a second unit director on this film.
Okay.
How strange.
That is strange.
And Tony Hawk was supposed to be David Spade's stunt double.
Yeah.
And I did watch a YouTube video that cited that he was David Spade's stunt double.
Okay.
But then I also found some trivia that said he was replaced because he was too tall.
He is too tall for Spade.
But David Spade could skate.
Oh, okay. So he didn't need a double.
Well, for the more kind of outlandish stuff,
Right.
I imagine. And apparently he was quoted as saying he was very nervous to skate in front of all the other pro skaters that were there.
I can understand that.
Yeah. But it was also David Spade's film debut.
Oh, okay. Police Academy 4.
Yeah.
He didn't come back for any others.
He didn't, which it was such a weird thing to introduce so many new characters because we had those 2. And House, was this the first one with House?
House, yeah, who was like cousin of Hightower or something.
He was only there for
friend
2
of
movies,
Hightower.
I believe.
Yeah. He was in 6, wasn't
Was
he? Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, so maybe 2 or 3.
But yeah, so you've got a bunch of skateboarding stuff in this, which they abandoned quite quickly because they made a big thing of it in the beginning. Like, we're doing some skateboard stuff here, guys.
I'm guessing skateboarding was just very cool at the time, and they were like, how can we write this in and appeal to the kids?
Do you think it was such a short-lived fad that they started off shooting the movie, and skateboarding was really popular, and then 2 weeks into the shoot, it was
already out of vogue, so they were like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board. Maybe.
So the second unit was all the skateboard stuff. That makes sense because there was a fair amount. There was some really long skateboarding stuff in the beginning, and I thought, am I watching a music video? What's going on?
Well, it was strange. that they did kind of abandon that plot point because it felt like it was being introduced for a reason.
Yeah.
But no, there's no reason.
No, just skateboarding is, these pesky kids are doing skateboards.
Skateboards.
Yeah, they're doing their skateboarding again, and they're being antisocial and riding around a bit.
Yeah, through a Toronto
Criminals.
mall.
Join a police academy.
Yeah.
So the fourth instalment of a police academy franchise is the original graduates teaming up with a group of civilians to form a citizens police academy program. A bit like the first movie.
Yeah. But this time it's delinquents on skateboards and an old lady who likes guns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that. And she kind of teams up with Tackleberry because he also likes guns. So
Does he?
They become best friends.
Oh, that's not been a prevalent plot point until now. No, she was kind of my favourite, if I'm being honest. I think she was underused and I was sad that she didn't come back.
Yes.
Going back to David Spade for a second.
Yeah.
According to a snippet from Gutenberg's own biography, which I shit you not is called the Gutenberg Bible.
Really? Oh my God.
For somebody who's reportedly so religious, is kind of a bit sacrilegious to name your biography the Gutenberg Bible.
Is it? I thought...
I don't think God would like that, do you?
You don't know that. I don't think he'd like to see a cross, to be honest. My son died on that. That's a Bill Hicks joke. I'm stealing that.
But apparently Gutenberg took David Spade under his wing during shooting in Toronto, and he bought him an expensive Rolex watch.
Okay.
Which sounds a lot to me like Steve Gutenberg may or may not have tried to groom David Spade.
Okay.
I won't comment further on that.
No, let's not. Okay, that's strange. I wonder why he never returned. Both of them.
Yeah, neither of them. It killed their police academy career. It's also the last police academy movie to feature the famous Blue Oyster Bar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I remember that being in every movie.
No.
So I was surprised to not see it in, with the exception of 5 and maybe 7. I guess.
Well,
and 6.
yeah, obviously wouldn't be in 5 or 7.
No.
There's just, I don't know, what would Russian be for the Blue Oyster Bar? Maybe they had a version.
Maybe.
But yeah, no more homophobia after this. I can't promise that.
Okay.
There was almost certainly still some homophobia.
Yeah, probably a little bit.
But no leather daddies after movie 4. Interestingly, Proctor, your favourite, is the only character to be demoted.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Well, apparently in Police Academy 3, he was a captain.
Was he?
Apparently.
Captain Proctor?
Apparently.
That was a huge mistake.
Which is why in film 4 they demoted him to lieutenant.
I would have promoted him.
Would you?
Yeah, just for fun. I'd like to if I knew Proctor, I would employ him just as to have a bit of a laugh, see what he does.
I mean, he was pretty entertaining as a lieutenant, so
yeah,
we didn't lose anything by his demotion. I
suppose so. It doesn't matter what his rank is. Could have made him the mop guy.
And finally, Sharon Stone marks.
I forgot she was in this.
Marks the only entry in this franchise to feature an Oscar-nominated actor.
Really?
You sound surprised.
Are
you shocked that it's not chock-a-block with an Oscar-nommed stars?
I was almost certain that Gutenberg was nominated for Cocoon.
Over Wilford Brimley? How dare you?
Yeah, Wilford got Best Actor and Gutenberg was nominated for Supporting Actor.
Oh, I see.
I haven't seen that movie since 1987. Are we still on Police Academy 4?
We are.
God, so Sharon,
let's talk quickly about the hot air balloons and move on,
I was going to say to you, out of your ways of remembering these movies, what was your tagline for remembering this movie?
It was the hot air balloon one.
Okay.
But because there's so much going on, it could have been the skateboarding one and I would still have known, but then I would have forgotten that there were hot air balloons at the end.
Is this also the one where Captain Harris falls in a drum? Because I really like that one.
I don't remember that. I remember Harris and Proctor being in some sort of falls, like they were in peril right at the end, weren't they? They were in the water.
Were they?
And had to be saved.
Oh,
a lot happens in this one. It's insane.
Yeah, they do some peril in a couple of movies, actually, those two.
Yeah, but apparently, I think it was this one anyway, because I did read somewhere that they didn't know each other very well at this point. Obviously, it's the first movie where we get the Harris and Proctor team up.
Yeah.
But that sort of being in peril
Yeah.
in that situation that was actually quite frightening for them, sort of forged a friendship in real life.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Isn't that cute?
Yeah. And they really worked. Like I said earlier, I didn't enjoy the Mauser character, although he's in my favourite Police Academy movie. If you would have put Captain Harris in that role, it might be a
that would have been
movie.
leagues ahead of all the others. Yeah,
it'd be a 5-star movie.
But there were actually some moments involving like legitimate stunts at the end of this, I would say.
Yeah. With the balloon stuff.
Yeah, and the planes and...
Didn't Tackleberry...
He was like rappelling down a fucking hot air balloon. It's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I've just realised where the £17 million comes from. Dollars.
Insurance.
Insurance, yeah. Right, have we got any more trivia for number 4?
Not for 4, no. I'm ready to move on.
Okay, let's get on to Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach. This one lives in my head.
Do you like this one?
I do like this one.
You?
I've got a lot of time for this one. This is feels like a ridiculous statement to make, but almost feels like the silliest Police Academy movie.
I would say the stuff with the with Lassard getting kidnapped and thinking it's a stitch up.
Yeah, it's
genuine or approaching genuine comedy gold.
Yeah,
just because Lassard's delivery is always
it's
impeccable.
Great. It's so deadpan and he's perfect. But yeah, it's most slapstick, I would say. So we're still doing one a year again. 1988, 14 million budget, so slightly less than the last one, and it grossed 55 million, so still shrinking.
Oh yeah,
at box office,
diminishing returns.
My first note reads: the 5th instalment of the Police Academy franchise sees the original graduates travelling to Miami Beach for a police convention. Mahoney is once again the central character.
No.
Many of the other original graduates are absent or have reduced roles.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I know. It's
You're
okay.
failing us.
No. It's okay. It's okay. You'll learn.
You don't have to be so nice in the the risk that they'll hear us and Skynet will happen. I think that's on the cards anyway.
Listen, like I said, I'm an ally. Can't speak for Sarah.
Hey, I welcome our robot overlords. I'm down.
How can I serve you, master? Yeah, so ChatGPT unfortunately said that Mahoney is in this.
Yeah.
Steve Guttenberg isn't in this, but it
might as well be.
I feel like they wrote this with Guttenberg in mind.
Oh, I think they did.
He didn't come back, and they just thought, do you know what? Let's just call that character Nick and make him Lassard's nephew.
Oh, I'm positive that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, he is basically just Steve Guttenberg reskinned.
Yeah, basically. But he's Miami Guttenberg. He's Miami Mahoney.
Miami Mahoney.
And this is the post Mahone period, isn't it? To steal your joke.
Yeah. Pre and post Mahone.
Yeah. So no Mahoney, but Nick is here, and we're in Miami. And we're following some criminals early on in this movie. They're trying to set up plot, as you said earlier.
Yeah, one of the few Police Academy movies to thread the plot through from minute one.
And they're doing a heist. They're, I guess, mafia, some vague Italian
who
crime.
Hired the 3 most bumbling idiot crooks to steal some diamonds.
They steal the diamonds. They're now tasked with getting those diamonds to their boss.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally swap bags with Lassard at the airport. Lassard's got the diamonds.
Goldfish.
They get the goldfish. Yeah.
Do you know the goldfish is called Birdie?
Is it?
Because
was it? That goldfish is dead now.
That goldfish is definitely dead. That's sad. It almost certainly was not the same goldfish throughout this franchise as well. It's probably Birdie number 17 by this point. But yeah, because Lassard loves golf so much.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's better than calling it bogey, I guess.
I don't know, that could have been funnier.
Or on par. Oh dear.
What's your fish called? 4!
Yeah, so we're in Miami. There's a police convention. Lassard is being honoured for being
because they want him to retire.
Super duper policeman. They want him to retire,
but he doesn't want to. He's sad about that.
No, he's sad about it, but he decides to go to the convention, make the most of it, and then just hit some people in the knackers with some golf clubs accidentally.
Yeah.
Drop some golf balls that make people slip over. And he eventually gets kidnapped because the criminals are trying to find the diamonds that he's holding on to unknowingly.
Yeah, and they've been as inept as the police at this point, and just kind of go, fuck it, let's just take him hostage. Yeah. Nothing else has worked.
But Lassard thinks that it's part of the celebration. He thinks that it's like a role play thing where they're pretending to kidnap him. So he's into it. He's like, oh, thanks for honouring me. Like, I love it. Like, and he's kind of tutoring the kidnappers and saying, no, you don't want to go down to the lobby. You should take me up to the roof level and demand a helicopter. And they're like, say, that's a good idea. So he's doing his Lassard thing, which works well in this movie. And the police academy cadets decide to or try and hatch a plan to rescue Lassard. Captain Harris pretends that he's in charge and sends them to do a thing,
but fails at every
but deliberately
turn.
Makes them fail and decides to try and take the glory, but in doing so gets kidnapped himself along with Proctor. So it's Proctor, Harris and Lassard what have been kidnapped on a boat. And you know it's Miami because they've got one of those little boats with a big fan on the back. That's how you know it's Miami.
And swamps.
Any movie that's set in Miami, you have to have swamps and a crocodile.
What are they called, those boats? I'm going to have to look that up.
They're called big old fan boats.
Boats.
Yeah, Swampmobiles.
Yeah, sure. Apparently, obviously we had Matt McCoy replacing Steve Gutenberg.
Oh, Matt McCoy, that's his name, right.
But at one point, the David Spade character was considered.
Really?
For that. Yeah, they were going to bring his character back.
Okay.
And just put him in that role.
That would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense, but I think it would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Matt McCoy is at least an adequate stand-in for Mahoney, but not Mahoney.
Yeah, agreed. This one's got some of my favourite jokes in.
Does it really?
Because it's the silliest. Yeah, it's...
Okay, like what? I mean, I'll be honest and say very quickly, one of my favourite moments is Proctor humming the Police Academy theme tune. It's like, how does he know it?
He knows he's in the movie.
Yeah, it's a weird meta moment.
Yeah, like 25 years before Deadpool.
Yeah.
Who did it first?
Police Academy.
Proctor or Waitress. Yeah. I like the stuff with Captain Harris and Proctor.
I know you
predictably.
do, yeah.
So Captain Harris is on the beach and he keeps moaning to people about getting out of his sun. He moans to Nick. Nick doesn't care for it. So he grabs the suntan lotion and writes the word dork on Captain Harris's chest. And then everyone just calls him Dork. Hey, Dork.
I mean, they're not wrong.
That makes me... That's such a simple, childish gag. But I love Captain Harris. He's so serious and walking along. So when he's humiliated, it just makes it even more funny to me. And then there's a bit at the bar
I
where
enjoy
Captain
this bit more.
Is trying to woo a young lady who's way too young for him, and he's being a bit of a creep. And Proctor accidentally sets fire to his hat. That's the best.
And then doesn't he dump a drink over it to put it out?
Yeah. And then you've got the whole Proctor doing the jet skiing stuff, and he's like, "Wave when you're ready," and he goes, "Hey, waves," and then he gets out of the water, and he's got no bum. He's got no bum on his swimming
He's still got
trousers.
A bum.
Yeah,
but it's now visible.
He's got no fabric on his bum.
Yeah. So apparently, Steve Gutenberg, obviously, as we've discussed, turned this down unceremoniously. Said he didn't want to do any more sequels. He was fully done with the franchise. And then 2 decades later started whinging about how he regretted turning them down. And up until at least 2019 has still been banging on about there being an 8th police academy, which has yet to come to fruition. I think there's a much higher chance of the whole thing being rebooted than there is of a legacy sequel by this point.
I think they're leaving money on the table by not reintroducing this franchise,
Do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it did make decent money at the time.
We'll get to number 7 and the failure of that movie in a little bit, but I don't think you could do an 8th movie. I think maybe just a short, limited season comedy show might be the way to go for that, just like half hour, get your knob gags in and then get out.
Did you know, I was surprised to learn this. I didn't know until I was doing my research. There were not 1 but 2 TV show spin-offs.
Animated, yeah.
Oh, were they?
One, at least one of them was animated.
Right,
yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense then. Yeah, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, so I would watch a reboot or a number 8, but I'm not sure many people would.
No.
But
I think they would have more success if they rebooted it in a kind of 21 Jump Street kind of a way.
Yes, but as an 8th movie, I don't think many people go to watch it. But if you do a legacy sequel, a kind of, what do you call them? A reboot call? What the children call them? I don't know.
Requel.
There's a way to do it, and because you can make them so cheap,
Mm-hmm.
you can make money from them. But you've got to do it right. The writing's got to be better. You've got to make it good so that people watch it and go, "Oh wow, this is way better than the original franchise."
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, let's watch Police Academy movies now until the end of time.
Ron Perlman's not here looking resentful and doing a terrible Russian accent. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
We will get to that. Also notable for being the first movie, the first of the franchise that Drew Struzan didn't do the artwork for.
Oh, right, okay.
Because some of the original posters,
Yeah,
I have a real fondness for actual artist renderings on posters rather than just like shitty Photoshop.
Yeah, agree.
So some they were all quite samey, but I did very much enjoy the early posters.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really noticed until I read that information, but there was kind of a decline after that point. They weren't as good. But yeah, apparently artist Cole Ramsey was hired to do the poster for 5 based on Drew Struzan's original concept.
Okay.
And also it was the last film to feature House.
Oh, it was?
It was, yeah. He was only in the 2.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, because didn't they drop him from a helicopter through a boat in this movie? Because he's massive.
Yeah,
because he's a big fat guy. So let's make him do something funny, like drop him from a helicopter.
I mean,
wrote that.
Nobody can accuse this franchise of being particularly progressive.
No,
despite the diverse cast.
Yeah. Are we done with Police Academy 5?
I'm done. Yeah.
Right.
I'm very done. Although very, very quickly,
So we're not done then?
No. Yet again, another critic.
Is it Pauline Kael?
This time Rex Reed was quoted as saying, "If they make another Police Academy movie, I'll leave the business."
So in 1989, he retired from...
Paul Maslansky then was quoted as saying, "Reed's one of the reasons I'm making Police Academy 5." Which I can respect that level of spite.
Awesome.
And he said, "I expect him to be a man of his word." But to Maslansky's disappointment, he was not.
Oh, no. Well, one of those people have got integrity. I'm not saying which.
It's not who you think it's going to be.
So let's move on to the penultimate movie in this long list of movies that we're covering today.
City Under Siege.
Police Academy 6, City Under Siege. And what's your way of remembering this movie?
Well, major spoiler from the outset. The Sneaky Mayor one.
The Sneaky Mayor one, yeah.
It's the Scooby-Doo one, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely got a Scooby-Doo vibe.
I mean, literally pulls a fucking mask off.
Yeah,
and he might as well have said, "I would have gotten away with it too if
Yeah.
I had a few meddling police officers."
12 million budget, 1989, did 33 million, apparently.
Oh, okay, so lower budget this time.
Yeah, slightly lower budget, and lower box office again.
Mm-hmm.
Diminishing returns with this franchise.
It did, each one made
less
progressively less than the last, didn't it?
Yeah. So the first note I've got here is the 6th installment of the Police Academy franchise sees Mahoney, not Mahoney, but
still me,
and his fellow officers investigating a series of high-profile crimes in their city. So as you said, it's the Sneaky Mayor one, so super spoilers for Police Academy 6, but anyone that's listening to this doesn't care or has seen Police Academy movies.
If anybody at this point in time gives a shit about us spoiling any Police Academy movies, reevaluate your life, please.
If we get one email complaining that we spoiled Police Academy 6, then I'm posting your email address online.
Oh, if we get that email, if we get an email with that complaint, I'll print it off and frame it for posterity.
So it's not Mahoney, but there is some crime happening, and
there's always some crime happening.
I really like the criminals in this one. I thought they were funny. One of them is a gun guy. Yeah, he's good at guns. The other one is there. And then they're doing water pistols at each other. And they're robbing places and basically working for who we later find out is the mayor, but is at this point called the mastermind. And everyone's trying to find the mastermind and trying to crack this case. I
love the mayor.
Yeah.
I've really got to say, I think the actor's name was Kenneth Mars.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably the most I've laughed in any Police Academy franchise.
Okay.
The way he just flubbed specific words and like fucked up his lines. Obviously, he did it on purpose, but that killed me.
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
He was good.
And I'm sad he was only in the one film.
Yes. And Proctor is in this one as well. Did I mention?
Proctor's in this one. We get Fackler back.
Oh, Fackler's back in this one for some reason, yeah.
Which, like, it goes to show how forgettable he is, because by the time he makes his return in 6 and starts walking around being, his one identifiable trait, clumsy, I was just like, who's this guy? Am I supposed to know? Oh, right.
His Butterfingers. Yeah.
So forgettable. But yeah, Billy Bird, who was one of my favourites in Citizens on Patrol, as Mrs. Stanwyck, the gun-obsessed pensioner, is back in this film, but not as Mrs. Stanwyck. I was so confused.
What, is she not? Is she a different character?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. She, oh no, she was Mrs. Feldman in Police Academy 4.
Mrs. F, yeah.
And she returns as Mrs. Stanwyck.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, unless she married between those two films.
She is the same character, right? Maybe there was some rights issues. Maybe someone created that character and was like, it's my character, you can't use that, it's iconic.
Or maybe she got married.
Yeah.
In the intervening films, so now she's Mrs. Stanwyck.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was curious.
I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I sort of remember this one not being very good.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it's probably in the top half of Police Academy movies.
When you say not very good, and I don't know, I feel like it's important to note that we are discussing these films as a microcosm. Yeah. So when we say good and bad,
we're comparing it to the other movies.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily indicative of any other movie in the world.
Yeah. I never owned this one on VHS. So it's one that I've not seen as often as some of the others. Mm-hmm. And I thought in my brain, for some reason, that's probably because I didn't enjoy it very much.
Okay.
But on reflection, I don't know. I had way more fun with this one than I remember having as a kid. And actually quite liked it. I thought, actually, this was quite good, this one.
And
by Police Academy standards.
Yeah, again, we have to qualify that statement. But it's also the last film to feature your favourite pairing, Captain Harris and
this is
Lieutenant Proctor, presumably still.
It's the last one with Proctor in it.
Yeah.
Which is a grave mistake. Because Proctor is Police Academy.
To you.
To me.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake. I think Captain Harris, well, we'll get to it when you talk about 7, but Captain Harris on his own is not nearly as effective.
No, he needs that buffoon to bounce off for sure. He needs his Stan Laurel.
Yeah, definitely.
Have I got that the right way around? Which one's Steve Coogan?
I love your mixed references. Speaking of English comedians, that takes us nicely into this fact.
Mr. Bean.
No, Rowan Atkinson is nowhere involved in this. But at one stage, producers considered having the storyline revolve around the Academy graduates travelling to England.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, I wouldn't have.
It was always shit. That. There was always a trope in 80s and 90s movies, wasn't it? And usually in sequels, they're like, let's go to England and have some Americans doing a crappy English accent. Yeah. And it's all the jokes are based around
the Queen's English,
tea parties and the monarchy and stuff, you know. With the exception of National Lampoon's European Vacation, which is a masterpiece.
And Euro Trip, where all the English people are just football hooligans.
Are they?
Headed up by Vinnie Jones.
Could be a documentary.
But yeah, so Richard Curtis and Ben Elton were approached with an offer to write the script for the 6th one, which they had initially titled The London Beat. But the pair refused, saying they don't work to hire. And that may be the only time I've been able to muster any respect for Richard Curtis.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday as well. Unfortunately. I hate that. Do you know what? The more I think about it, Police Academy 6 is pretty good as I said, by Police Academy standards. Ben Elton, Richard Curtis one around about the time they were writing Blackadder. Could be something.
I fully respect their decision to turn it down, though. I think they are above it.
Do you think so?
No offence to Police Academy.
I don't know.
Some offence to Police Academy.
Richard Curtis made Love Actually.
No, I know. That's why I hate him.
Yeah. So you got any Police Academy numero 6 trivia?
A couple of things. The criminal organisation behind the crime wave in the city is called the Wilson Heights Gang, which is a reference to Wilson Heights Boulevard, a street in the Downsview area of Toronto. I guess as a nod to where the first handful were filmed, 2 aside. And they never state which American city the films take place in, but this movie offers a hint that it might possibly be supposed to be New York. Put my teeth back in.
Yeah.
As the boss Harris and Proctor commandeer during the climax says 23rd Broadway on its destination sign.
Okay. It felt kind of Big Apple-y
New
to
Yorky.
me.
Yeah. But obviously it's supposed to have been the same city the whole time.
Yeah.
With the exception of Miami.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's odd that they didn't name it or come up with a fictionalized city or something.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then that is to assume there was much thought put into these films.
They're shitting out one a year.
Yeah.
They've just got to get them written. They traced over the script for the last movie.
Like a brass robin.
Yeah. They just gave it a different title and took some characters away and put some new characters in. But basically they're the same characters and the same jokes. But yeah, okay, so number 7?
Number 7.
Number
Let's
7.
do it.
Police Academy, Mission to Moscow.
Yeah, but because of the fact that they say Moscow so often in these movies, it's messed with my brain.
Mm.
And now I've started to headcanon it as Moscow.
Moscow, yeah, I like to say Moscow.
But every time I say it, I'm like, stop it.
I prefer to say Moscow than Moscow. It's more satisfying to say Moscow because it's got the word cow in it. That's funny.
It makes me twitch a little bit though because it feels wrong.
Okay. So 5-year break between number 6 and number 7. I guess they were just making less and less money, becoming less and less popular, so they kind of stopped, and then a few years break, and they thought, let's try this Police Academy thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Less budget, so they made this one really cheap by 1994 standards. Anyway,
it definitely shows
6.2 million.
Okay, wow.
Budget. The box office for this movie was $126,000, 247.
Fuck.
Of which around $7 was me going to the cinema to see this when I was 10 years old.
I would not have admitted to that if I were you.
Only Police Academy movie that I saw at the cinema.
Wow.
First and last.
Bad.
Yeah, that is terrible. I had a feeling it bombed and didn't do very well, but how much?
Extreme.
I don't know how they only made 120. How did that happen? Because this movie is awful.
Oh yeah.
This is the only one that I would say this is a truly awful movie.
Objectively bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. There's nothing funny in this. It's terrible. The jokes are bad.
There are jokes.
You've got some returning characters, but not
very few.
Yeah, few returning characters, and Ron Perlman for some reason.
Who is very resentful of his role in this.
So my first AI-generated bullet point is the final installment of the Police Academy franchise sees a new group of graduates travelling to Moscow to help the Russian police combat organised crime. The film features many new characters with only a few of the original actors reprising their roles, including George Gaines as Commandant Lassard and David Graff as Tackleberry.
Yeah, we got Michael Winslow back.
Yeah, we got Winslow back, Captain Harris, which
Easterbrook.
you mentioned. Yeah.
That's about it, I think.
I think that is it. The central villain of the film is Konstantin Kanali, a Russian mobster who is trying to take over the country's oil supply, which is incorrect. He's not trying to take over the oil supply, is he? Isn't he trying to take over Game Boys?
Yeah, something about handheld.
Yeah.
There's some video game nonsense that I didn't really...
He has a computer programmer locked in a room and says, make me a game.
Some game about a bear?
Was it? I don't know. I don't remember.
Because bears and ballet and vodka.
Oh, yeah.
They play to every xenophobic trope in this movie,
and
of course.
They have some ballet in this as well.
And acrobats.
But yeah, he's trying to create this computer game that steals people's information, which say what you want about Police Academy 7, it's a terrible movie, but that one thing was way ahead of its time by 20 years. Yeah, so Ron Perlman is the baddie. He's terrible in this.
He is really bad, but he's since been quoted as saying he considered his work on this movie to be a public service by shutting down the franchise.
I love it.
He was quoted as saying, I'm not going to apologise, I did that piece of shit.
Oh, respect.
Right?
Respect to him. Yeah. No, I was going to say, I don't blame him because the script is so terrible. And what you're doing, you're getting paid and you're reading these words and you're going, this is awful.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to make any of it sound convincing?
There was no way to do a better job than he did, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
He was working with a fucking turkey of a script.
Yes. It may as well have been written by a turkey.
Maybe it was. That would make more sense.
This is the one where Lassard goes missing and is staying with a Russian family.
Oh no!
And
The
then,
egg thing. You're going to talk about the egg thing.
Yeah, for some reason, someone spits an egg out and Lassard catches it in his mouth, and then he spits it out, and the other person catches it in their mouth, and they're doing this weird egg mouth rally thing for about a minute.
I was so
what's going on?
Confused. I think that took years off my life. That scene.
I was wondering if you'd spiked my drink with LSD or something. I thought I was imagining it.
Somebody wrote that down.
Yeah.
And went, this will be funny. Eggs. Like, what?
Oh my God. Yeah.
They were the ones on LSD, not you.
They should have sat down and rewritten the script more and try and crack that egg joke.
Oh God.
Because as far as I could tell, they just scrambled it completely.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Did you pre-write those guys?
No, I just got all of them. And they're better than Police Academy jokes. 7. Police Academy 7 jokes.
Yeah, it's important to make that distinction.
Do you want another bullet point or do you want to do a trivia?
Go for it.
All right, what we got here then? The film features several over-the-top action sequences, including a car chase through Moscow and a final showdown at an oil refinery. I don't remember
any of this.
Is that a car chase?
I think I've as a trauma response, repressed the memory of this film.
We'll have to get you hypnotised.
Yeah.
Take you back to the time when you were watching Police Academy 7.
Some sort of regression therapy to a week ago.
You were like, no. Wake up in a cold sweat. I don't remember. There's a chance that this could be incorrect, and ChatGPT, God bless you, getting the movies muddled up. There is a sword fight in this. Ron Perlman does a bit of a sword fight with with Commandant Lassard. That's the climactic action sequence in this, isn't it?
That's the climax.
Yeah. I don't remember this oil refinery business.
I don't remember the oil refinery.
I remember some ballet business.
I remember that, and I remember they introduced Claire Fulani, whose only identifiable characteristic is that she just wants a holiday. Bless her.
Yeah.
She just wants to go on holiday. Yeah. Won't shut up about it at every available opportunity.
Yeah.
And they also introduced that younger cadet.
Yeah.
Who sort of bullshitted his way into coming along on the mission.
Yeah, like at the start of the movie, he's like a failing cadet, and he pretends that he's someone else that's a super cadet and takes their identity and goes to Russia and becomes the hero. It could sort of the pseudo
tremendously dangerous.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's kind of the Mahoney character again, isn't he? Because you've got to have a white guy.
There's always got to be a Mahoney. Yeah. So depressing. I can only assume somebody had dirt on Sir Christopher Lee.
Oh, I forgot he was in this movie.
How could you?
Yeah.
A guy with that career, living legend Christopher Lee, died with Police Academy 7 mission to Moscow on his resume.
Yeah. I believe on his gravestone it just says, "I apologise for Police Academy 7.
Do you know what? He did a pretty good job with what he had to work with.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, it was, say it again, the script is awful. It's truly terrible. And I don't blame anyone other than the makers, the creators of this movie.
Paul Maslansky solely.
Yeah, it's just for some reason, none of this works. I don't know why. Because they had 5, it's like they had a year between the first 6 movies, and they could have been, some of them were bad, but like truly terrible. But you wait 5 years, you think you would have time to write a proper movie.
You would assume, weird, but you'd be wrong. Yeah,
it's very strange. They did the ballerina bit at the end was the Swan Lake production.
Yeah. Oh God, with Captain Harris in a tutu. I'd forgotten about that. That's another repressed memory that's just come back to me.
Yeah, and Tackleberry is dressed as either the Swan or the Lake. I don't know.
My God.
And he's flapping. Flapping about a bit and saying, "Captain Harris, come on, we've got to go and solve this crime. There's the crime man there, and there's
also guns."
Yeah. And Leslie Easterbrook is pretending to be like a singer and kind of gets in there with.
She seduces
Canali.
Ron Perlman.
She seduces Ron Perlman, and she does a bit of actual singing. I believe she was a professional singer in real life, so it's nice that she got to do a bit of that. I hope she got paid handsomely for it. I don't really know what else to say about Police Academy Mission to Moscow.
I want to quickly just bring up the 3 acrobat characters because that kept happening to my eyeballs, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on.
Because, Sarah...
Because Russia,
all
I know.
Russians train in the circus.
Yeah, they really like their vodka.
Mm-hmm.
They're an austere people, and they all have innate circus skills
Yeah.
from birth.
Yeah, and that all of these things apply to every single Russian.
Yeah, that's what I've been led to believe.
Yeah.
Unless movies are just lying to me this whole time.
No, they're not. It's true.
But yeah, that's about it. Apparently they were supposed to have a larger role. I'm really glad they didn't.
Okay. Maybe they cut a bunch of acrobat stuff out.
Maybe. But yeah, I what more can you say about this? It's easily the worst one. It's the one with the fewest returning cast members from the ensemble. It made the least money, deservedly.
Yeah.
It was a blight on otherwise successful careers.
Yeah. It's a weird anomaly, this film. It's so bad. I just don't know how they screwed it up as much as they did.
But the fact that we're saying this in comparison to the first 6, when compared to other actual films, it's that much worse.
Yeah, it's got to be in the top 10 or 20 worst movies that I've ever seen.
I wonder if it is on like the IMDb bottom 100 or something.
Oh, maybe.
It should be.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch The Room. I'd rather watch Birdemic.
I'd happily watch The Room or Birdemic, because at least you can have some fun with those movies.
Even Drainiac.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Draw the line at Drainiac, I think. Terrible movie. Have you got any tidbits on Police Academy number 7?
No, I want it to be over.
Let's wrap it up.
I can feel myself dying inside.
All right, let's wrap it up then. So, in conclusion, the Police Academy franchise, we watched this because we for some reason decided to watch a Police Academy movie and then a Chucky movie.
Well, because
and then a Police Academy movie, then a Chucky movie.
To make this short story longer, because that's the phrase. Every time we walked into HMV, you picked up and looked longingly at the Police Academy Blu-ray box set, and so I bought it for you one day because you never left the shop with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, he obviously wants it. And then you were like, I'm gonna make you sit down and watch all 7.
Mm.
And I said the only way that was gonna happen is if I'm allowed to make you watch a franchise that I really enjoy, which is the Child's Play franchise. So we alternated them over about a month.
We did. So we watched all 7 Police Academy movies, and then we retrospectively said, well, why don't we try and crowbar that into an episode?
so that our time was not wasted.
Yeah. So you're welcome, listeners. You get to hear us talk about 7 Police Academy movies. But on the plus side, you never need to hear us mention it. I will mention them again at some point. I'll probably mention Proctor many, many times over the course of this podcast lifetime. But you won't need to hear about the movies again. So we're done with Police
just
Academy
Lance Kinsey.
Yes. So final thoughts. I've got a bit of a ranking. I'm just going to quickly go through.
Okay, what's your ranking then?
Yes. So
you should have ranked them in order of seniority of police. Which one does Commandant?
I should have done. I didn't think of it. So my favourite one is number 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one I saw most.
It's the perfect amount of Mr. Z.
It's the perfect amount of Mr. Z. It's got all your old favourites in there and some new good characters. And I was thinking about this last night. I think maybe it might have been the first one that I saw, because this one came out in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
So give it a couple of years to 1988. It was probably starting to get aired on terrestrial UK television.
Yeah.
So it may well have been the first one that I saw recorded off the television and then watched it over and over again. So that might have something to do with it. It's the most Police Academy, most nostalgic for me. It's the one I'll put on before any others.
It's the Police Academy-ist movie.
It's the Police Academy-ist, yeah. My second is number 1, because I think it's almost a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a lot of the same beats as actual films.
Yeah. My third favourite is number 5, I've just got
controversial, but okay.
I've got a huge soft spot for it. I enjoy it a lot.
Mhm.
And it nearly was my number 2, but
Okay.
number 1, as I said, is almost a movie. Next is number 6, which I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. And then we've got number 2,
Mhm.
number 4, and guess what? Number 7 is the worst one.
You prefer number 2 to number 4? I think I would have swapped those around.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Subject we could go through and watch them again if you like. Just do a re-review.
Not this decade.
Okay, fair. What's your favourite one?
I think my favourite one is number 3 as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I like certain bits out of most of them, even if I don't like the project as a whole.
Yeah.
There's usually something to enjoy.
Okay.
But you very firmly have to switch your brain off.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that your least favourite is
7,
number 7.
obviously.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it might be a good idea to, we spoke earlier a little bit about an 8th movie, a legacy sequel, reboot.
Yeah.
If you were to recast Police Academy, who would you recast in some of the key roles?
This is interesting because this is the first time I'm hearing you say these things. Obviously,
yeah, we did.
But yeah, I have a pre-prepared list.
Yeah, me too.
How funny.
Me too. Okay, so we came up with the characters that we wanted to recast.
We did the top 10.
Yeah, and I'll go first because you know what my first one is.
Okay.
Commandant Lassard.
Yeah.
Who else are you going to cast other than Martin Short?
That was the only one I could predict
Yeah.
off your list. I knew Martin Short was going to be on there.
Yeah, Martin Short is the king of delivery. He's got that. He can do dry. He can do silly.
He would be good.
He can fall over and it's hilarious. So who have you got as Lassard?
Interestingly, I've got Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. Okay.
Misdirect.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm familiar with a lot of his career.
Yeah.
Most of what he's done is serious.
He was in Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah, but also, so he's done, we know he can do comedy is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was really good in Grace and Frankie. I don't think you watched that, but he was really genuinely quite funny in that. And again, he can do sort of the straight man, but make it funny.
Yeah.
I think he would be an interesting choice anyway.
Okay. Should I do Mahoney?
Sure.
Pete Davidson.
For Mahoney?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought, bit of a rebel initially. He's got some tattoos, so people are going to judge him. They're going to judge a book by its cover, so maybe you're going to do a bit of a don't judge a book by its cover type moral lesson thing.
Okay.
And he's just got that kind of lovable rogue attitude, I think, that he has more than Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do. I like Pete Davidson a lot.
I know you do. I didn't really have any other thoughts about Mahoney. That's the only one he came to me and I thought, no, I'm happy with that. I'm going to stick with Pete Davidson as Mahoney.
Okay.
Who have you got?
Mine's a bit out of left field.
Okay.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. That works, actually.
Again, he can do comedy.
Yes.
He's quite charismatic. He's not, I've never seen him in a role where he's been like as overly confident as Mahoney, but I think he could probably get there.
Yeah.
There were shades of that in Scream 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with that choice.
Yeah, that's good actually. I think that's a really good choice. Captain Harris. Okay, so I've gone for Peter Serafinowicz.
Okay.
Odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know why his name popped into my head, but I just thought he can do straight man.
Yeah.
Very well.
And he's funnier when he's doing straight man.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And I just thought I couldn't think of anyone else that suited that role better, in my opinion.
Okay.
Who have you got?
Wildly different choice.
Pauly Shore.
No, Ken Jeong.
Okay.
Because I could see him as like this sort of resentful, power mad idiot.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
I told you wouldn't guess most of mine.
No, definitely not. I would never have guessed Ken Jeong in a million years. Who have we got next? Okay, so my favourite, Proctor. Who are we casting as Proctor?
You'll hate me for mine.
I will tell you. Anna Faris.
Okay. Okay.
Good comedic timing. She can be a buffoon. She does a buffoon very well.
She's good at silly, yeah.
She's good at silly.
That's good. That's a good one.
I was really happy with that. And again, like I thought of her, I was like, I don't want anyone else. I want to see Peter Serafinowicz and Anna Faris together in a scene doing straight man and silly, like goofball.
I'd pay to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
I think you'll hate me for my choice.
Oh, who have you got? Was it not fucking Mike Myers or something, is it?
No, I went for Dave Franco. Based solely on Day Shift.
Yeah. Okay.
He is good at comedy.
Yeah.
I think he can do silly.
Yeah.
I think he could properly lean into that if he wanted to.
Okay.
I struggled with this one though, I'll be honest.
Okay.
But settled on Dave Franco.
I wasn't
the superior Franco.
I wasn't just the only Franco.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly sold until you mentioned his role in Day Shift, where he was good.
That's what
and I enjoyed him in that and that movie actually. I thought that was funnier than it had any business being. But yeah, he was a good goofball in that. So yeah, I'd buy that for $1. So the next one, Jonesy. This is the one I really, really, really struggled with.
Okay.
Because you can't, what do you do? Do you get another mouth guy?
Well, I kind of had to disregard that kind of element to the character because the only person I could think of that would come close is someone like Jay Pharoah.
Yeah.
And that's only because he's very good at impersonations of people and stuff.
Okay.
That was the only person that came to mind. Right. I abandoned that. So I just kind of went for who I thought would fill the other attributes of that role well.
Interesting you mentioned the impersonations thing because I was really struggling. Yeah. And I thought, do we get another mouth guy? I can't think of another mouth guy.
You've got, please stop saying mouth guy. Struggling.
Sorry, I saw it written on that bathroom last night and I can't get it out of my head.
So maybe that's another word for dentist. Me mouth guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I struggled with it. I thought, do we just keep Michael Winslow? Can we just get him back? And I thought, no, we're recasting.
No, it's got to be brand new.
I went down similar routes to what you were just saying about the impersonations. Tom Hiddleston. It's not the most. I'm not the happiest with this casting, but I couldn't think of anyone else. And my logic is that he's good at impressions, so he can do an impression of Captain Harris, like on a tannoy, and pretend that he's Captain Harris or something.
Okay.
I'm not super happy with that, but I couldn't think of anyone else.
I don't love it.
No.
But I think mine is better in terms of comedy and comedic timing.
Okay.
I went with Danny Pudi.
Okay.
I told you there would be a couple on my list that you would say that too. Best known as being Ahmed from Community.
Oh, right. I've never seen Community.
Okay. He is... I wish he got more work, actually, because the handful of things I've seen him in, he's been a real standout. He's very funny. Yeah. Very good timing. But he's also a really good actor.
Okay.
And again, I kind of had to disregard the noises and that sort of stuff and just go with somebody that I thought would fit the role otherwise. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. You can't recreate that magic. There isn't another Michael Winslow. No, there's only one Michael Winslow. Yeah. Okay, you've taken us on to Hightower. Yeah. My first thought was Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Oh, that I wrote that down and crossed it out as well.
Because he's fucking huge.
He's Henry.
Yeah. But then I sort of wasn't quite happy with that because I haven't really seen him do any comedy. Brilliant actor. Amazing in Candyman. Yeah. Just haven't seen him do much comedy. So I changed track a little bit and then decided because the original Hightower, Bubba Smith, was a sports guy, I thought we'll get another sports guy. Okay. We'll get Shaq. We'll get Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
And he's only 51, so you can get 10 sequels out. Is he only 51? Yeah. Or was he early 50s at time of recording?
Okay. Yeah.
Sports guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Big sports guy.
And I couldn't name another sports guy. Sprots. Not my forte.
No, Gary Lineker.
I don't think Gary Lineker will work as Hightower.
No.
Go with your first choice. Okay. Yeah.
Who have you got as Hightower?
Well, again, because the character's sole attribute is size, I also followed that tack. But I went for Winston Duke.
Yes.
Because he can do comedy.
Yeah, good choice. I like it.
Yeah. He was great in Oz.
Yeah.
Loved him.
Yeah. Actually, do you know, I prefer him to Shaq.
Okay.
I think if you get Shaq, you might get some sports people going to see the movie. So maybe from a box office perspective, that might be a good move. Yeah. But I prefer yours.
He's probably got more commercial appeal.
Yeah. But I prefer yours without a doubt. Right, should we do Callahan?
Sure.
Aubrey Plaza.
Interesting.
Because she can do dry, hard.
Can she?
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza, dry?
Super stony face. Stern.
Okay.
And I was specifically thinking about all of those jokes they made about when Callahan is like decking a dude and everyone wants to be decked by her. But I can just see everyone be like, yeah, I want to be decked by Aubrey Plaza.
Okay.
And that was the only reason.
Okay. Well, my choice is, again, worlds apart from yours and might be met with a who.
Okay.
So I went for Gwendolyn Christie.
Yes, okay. That's very good.
Because from a visual perspective, she is Amazonian in height, blonde, beautiful, but very kind of austere. But also, having seen her in a couple of Peter Strickland's films, she's really good at comedy.
Okay.
But like very subtle, understated, weird comedy.
Gwendolyn Christie, okay. Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Okay.
I like that a lot. Taking us on to hooks, I've got Octavia Spencer.
Okay. I like Octavia Spencer.
I like Octavia Spencer too. Now, Hooks is not the most prominent character. Maybe you could give her a bit more to do in a reboot, in a sequel, and I like her, so I would like to see her in a Hooks role.
Okay.
What about you?
I went a completely different direction again. I went for Jenny Slate.
Yeah. I like it, actually, yeah.
And also, very minor connection to Police Academy. I watched Marcel the Shell with Shoes on recently. And I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 of the Police Academy franchise. I can't believe we've not mentioned this up until now. That was directed by Peter Boners. And I went to see that film at the cinema. And during the credits, I was looking at all the voices of the different shells. And I was like, oh, Nathan Fielder. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. But what? The Peter Boners? And yeah, it was the same guy.
Okay. So what you're saying is that there's a Jenny Slate Police Academy connection.
She already has a very, very, very vague connection. Okay. Also, I love her.
Yeah,
she's
funny. Great. She's great. Okay, next I've got Tackleberry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to swap gender here. Viola Davis. I thought
Ooh.
She could just be like a very good, no-nonsense, excessive force, over-the-top, love guns. Or maybe you don't do the gun thing. Maybe you just do like a violence in general thing, like excessive force. I thought there's something interesting there that you can do.
I don't know if I've seen her do comedy before. She's excellent in everything.
Yes, but I don't think necessarily the Tackleberry character needs to be that funny. They just need to deliver lines that are funny.
Okay, so
it's more scenario stuff.
Viola Davis from Suicide Squad more than...
Yeah, or The Woman King, but less troubled.
Maybe. Okay.
But as double-R as... I was thinking of The Woman King just because how double-R she was in that movie, and I thought maybe parts of that character could lend itself to Tackleberry in Police Academy.
Interesting.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Again, I went for a very different choice.
All right.
Straight out-and-out comedy. Channing Tatum. Because he's very good at playing the idiot.
Yes.
And there's not much to Tackleberry beyond... Did you know I like guns?
Yeah.
I like guns.
Yeah.
Look at all my guns.
Yeah.
And I think potentially Channing Tatum could do that quite well.
What if he was Channing Tatum, but his character from 21 Jump Street, and they just put that character...
He's undercover.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Sure. Yeah, okay.
His name is not Jeff. Okay, so last one?
Sure,
Mr. Z?
Yeah.
Best for last?
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you who I was considering before
Bobcat
I tell you.
Goldthwait.
No,
there can only be one. He's like the Highlander. Mr. Z is the only one.
Is the only one.
Yeah.
No, I considered Taika Waititi or Caleb Landry Jones. Taika Waititi because funny and a bit silly, and then Caleb Landry Jones because he has long hair sometimes.
Okay.
But he's distinctive looking. But I wasn't happy particularly with either of those. Mm-hmm. And then I had a brainwave.
Okay.
Eric Andre.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, right?
I like that a lot.
Anakin.
I like yours way more than mine.
What have you got?
Well, funnily enough, I went for somebody who's already on your list, and that was Pete Davidson.
Okay. So
but I prefer your choice.
You think Eric Andre is a lock-in for Mr. Z?
Yeah.
Okay, agree. So that was our casting. Let us know who you would recast in a reboot. Shootthehostage.pod on all social medias.
I really enjoyed that. I want to know what everybody else would say.
It's fascinating. I would love to hear what everybody else would choose. I was super excited to hear what you were going to choose, and particularly when you said you're not going to guess mine. And I thought the same. I thought maybe
I knew Martin Short.
You knew I was going to Martin Short. Yeah. But yeah, no, I was super happy with most of my list, with the exception of the Jonesy one. And yours was great as well. There's some bangers on there too. Which takes us to the end. We've done it.
Yeah. And I didn't completely lose the will to live.
Not completely.
No.
No.
I'm borderline. I'd like a nap now.
Are we going to outro with the Police Academy theme?
Of course. Are we allowed?
If we do less than 15 seconds, I think we'll be all right.
If you sing it, it will be so unlike the actual version that Spotify won't flag it.
We are police academies. We're learning to be police. We're here with Mahoney and the mouth guy. And the gun guy is here too. Plus we've got the shouty one who's in 3 of them. This is not going to work, is it?
I don't think you've got a career in like anything that involves thinking.
Thinking.
Yeah.
Anything that involves thinking.
Yeah, sure. Let's end it there. Anything that involves thinking, opt out immediately. But otherwise, well done.
Thank you. Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your platform of choice and come and shoot the shit with us on social media. All the links are in the description.